us and would like to watch it later. So welcome you guys to our December 2020 Team Freedom Team Time, our last meeting of the month, not our last gathering, but our last meeting before our Christmas party later in the month. But, wanted to talk about some things here and really kind of dive right into what we can be doing right now. This is an interesting time, and particularly for Paula and anybody else watching this who is the first time going through the seasonal change with Pampered Chef. It is sort of a strategy that you want to have. Sounds like Paula is definitely in the right, in the right place doing that as far as the timing goes, because you want to enjoy the holidays, but we don't want to just take a whole month off because it's going to be really hard to come back in January and start strong in the new year. So we want to, have a good bridge in there. So one of the things with that is the timing. But you know what? I just realized before we get there, we need to find out what's going right with everybody. So we usually start our meetings with what's going right to kind of hear some of the things to celebrate that aren't, maybe numbers on a report that we just celebrated in the Facebook group. So Deb, what's going right in your business today?
Well, doing that first shared rewards party was awesome. I just could not believe how much fun it was to see the increase in discount and how excited everybody got for that. And so I just was like, wow, this is a fun new format. And I can see it fitting in well with, with our regular, I love the fact that we have this whole menu of different shows to offer.
Yeah.
And it's just wonderful. And so that's what's going right in my business, having another tool in my toolkit to offer.
So some of you, Paula, and anybody watching the recording too, may not know what Deb's talking about with something called shared rewards. And this was announced at National Conference in July. So some of you might have heard of it, but not really have heard much since then because it hadn't started yet. It actually goes into effect in January for all consultants. So everybody will have an opportunity to check this out and begin doing shared rewards shows if you would like to do that in January. Now, this is not taking the place of our standard host rewards. It's just another option. And sort of in a real briefly, the way it works is instead of having the host have the free products and half price items at a monthly host special, they do not get those. So just need to know that they don't get both. Instead of that, everybody in the party, the host and all the guests, share a discount. And the discount is based on the sales from the party. So as the sales go up, the discount goes up, which I think then tends to make the sales go up again because people are, oh, now I've got a 20%, 25% discount. I'm going to add some things to my order, that kind of thing. So Deb did one of these because some of us are in a pilot program using shared rewards. We got to get a little jump start. There are people earlier in the pilot program, like earlier in the year, that have been while they've been developing it. But now that they're about a month out, they just kind of briefly opened it up and made it available to for some people to join and play around with a little bit. So Deb, I haven't done any yet. I've got some scheduled for this week to start, but Deb did one last week that ended up being $1,900. 1990, so just a hair short of a $2,000 show on the commissionable part, meaning after the 25% discount. So this was a big show, and it's going to be, I think, a really nice option to offer people. We will be doing a team Zoom like this, I think probably later in the month. We might do it like stick it in there that week between Christmas and New Year's and have a quick Zoom just to kind of go over how that works and make sure everybody has a chance to answer questions and whatnot. And there will be stuff on Consultants Corner also. They're going to have a bunch of training and FAQs and stuff like that, resources to make sure everybody knows how it works.
And it will be pivotal to do one in December because they allow the 10% off for all of your guests that may have purchased.
Oh, good point.
So it is awesome to offer that before the end of the year because Pampered Chef offered every single person that purchased from, was it from April or was it for the whole year?
No, I think it was from April. During the time that people April ended 1st, up with the back orders and the delayed shipping and all that
April
sort of thing.
1st to September 30th.
September 30th, I think,
anybody that ordered gets 10% off, just like our past hosts. And
Mhm.
that's how it shows up in our shared rewards as
And
well.
right.
Because
And
I was
that's
like,
how it,
wait a
yeah,
second,
in
I
regular
didn't have
parties.
this
In
person as a
regular
host.
parties, it does
Yeah.
as well. If you're
Right.
getting like, you know, a whole bunch of guests that have a
Right.
past host discount that you're pretty sure didn't host, that's because
Right.
that's the way they're designating that.
Right.
So that's going to be, I think, a good point, because that discount is available through December 31st. So
Yes.
it's not like the past host discount where it's good for a year after their party. This is only through the end of December. And that's not an issue, I think, for people ordering only through shared rewards parties, just across the board, because
Right.
even if they're hosting a regular party or they're just going to order some things, they're going to have that 10% discount up
Right.
until the end of the year.
So reminding everybody,
Not everybody can do the shared rewards if
Yeah.
if you're not in the pilot program, then
Right.
it's not open until after
right.
after this month. So
But even connecting with all of your past guests and letting
Mhm.
them, reminding them, hey, you know, you still have this 10% off until December 31st. What can I help you? You know, how can I help you shop?
Right.
You know, to
Or
get
if you've
that
got
10%
somebody
off.
that has, you know, there's somebody you're talking to about hosting and they're saying, oh, my friends all just went to parties within the last few months. You can say, great, that's perfect, because that means they've got this discount. So that's not a reason not to have a party. That's a reason
Right.
to have a party, so that their friends can have a chance to use that discount before it's gone.
Great
So
thought.
good
Great thought.
point there, Deb.
Yeah.
All right. Paula, what's going right in your business?
Everything right now.
Excellent. Anything in
I'm
particular
just-
you want to share with us? We always like to, you know, kind of, we want to focus on the positive and what's going right. And so, you know, we like to kind of celebrate.
You know, when I started talking to Janine about possibly being a consultant, she's like, I'll just give it a try. And I was shocked how fast I was able to recoup what I had put in.
Yeah.
And then I did the fast track in less than 45 days. I just got my knife block and set today.
Woo, woo, woo.
And I shared with her, I was really like, it would bother me at night. I'd wake up at night thinking, I'm not going to get any bookings. And that's, I've gotten very used to people not responding when I reach out
Totally
to them.
normal. Yeah.
I had my first person this last week send me a message saying, I want to do my own party.
Oh, nice.
That was in another party. So that was great.
Awesome.
And you know, and I don't have a lot booked after the first of the year, but I'm sure that'll, between these two parties going on right now and the 4 starting on Friday. But I do have 1, 2 for January, and I have 4 people for the spring. Oh, wait a minute. 5 for January. And then I have a friend who's a basketball head coach for our local high school, and she said after basketball season she wanted to do it.
Gotcha.
Awesome.
And I'm seeing now, I don't stress as much. I'm seeing as I go along and it rolls. Even if I just get 1 booking, I'm happy.
Yeah. That's awesome. And I mean, because I've got to give a shout out to you and something going right in your business. You had over $5,000 in sales in November.
Wow.
As a new
Yes.
consultant, $5,200 in sales. I mean,
amazing.
that's awesome. Like you said, I mean, you just in that 1 month we've hit the top level of your fast track product bonuses. And that's really amazing. So congratulations.
I have a
Good for you.
question for Paula. Paula, it's hard to get through to other people to let them know, you know, about starting the business, and you took the leap of faith there. But how, you know, how can we get that information across? What, as a new consultant, how do you see informing people about this? You know, because a lot of times, you know, I try to get it across to people. Oh my gosh, you just can't believe, even if you just do this for just a short time, how amazing, you know, the money can, how easily the money can come in. So
Right.
is there anything that you can, you know, enlighten me as a new consultant now? You're, I don't know, something
I'm thinking maybe like what was helpful to you in making you decide to go ahead and go for it. Hi, Jenny.
I'm I have an accounting background, so I'm very numbers
Okay.
and very
So
logical
numbers
thing. looking at the kit and realizing that I was getting the kit. Can you hear me? I'm sorry. I'm getting this message that says it's unstable. That I was getting the air fryer cheaper than if I bought it outright by buying the ultimate kit.
Yeah,
Plus I was getting $800 and some more worth of product.
right.
And I was putting what, $200 and some into it. And if I had one or two decent parties, then, and it dried up, then so be it.
It's still
It's
a
no
win.
brainer.
I got some great stuff
Okay.
out of it.
Right.
Okay.
But
So
you know, I had a good
what's the
time
number?
with my first party, with my launch party. I mean, Janine helped him. She did the party so I could see what she did,
Mm-hmm.
but she had me as the host.
Mm-hmm.
So then, of course, I got the benefits from that, and then I got friends booking, and my friends and family just came out of the woodwork. I mean, my launch party was over $1,600.
Wow.
Great.
Awesome.
And I've had one party since, a girl that said, "Well, I don't know that anybody will order anything," and she beat my launch party.
Wow. You just
Yay.
never know. You know,
So
that's a
she
really
hyped it up with her
important thing to
friends. I
realize
got
is,
2 or 3 bookings off of her.
yeah. And it happens pretty frequently that someone will be like, oh, I don't know if anybody wants to buy anything, or my friends don't really cook, or all these different things that are they're sort of seeing as reasons not to do it. And if we can just encourage them to just go for it anyway, the worst thing that's going to happen is your friends have some fun and get some recipes. You know what I mean? It's
Exactly.
not a big
Yeah,
scary
I did
thing,
have,
but it does
I've had
happen
2
often.
I've had 2 dud parties, as I
Uh-huh.
would call it.
Yeah.
They qualified, you know, but one was $200 and one was like 500. They were my lowest parties, and
Uh-huh.
they didn't do what I told them to do and invite everybody.
Yeah.
Whether
That's
you think they're going to buy something or not,
right.
whether you think that they're going to join or not, but I mean, so they don't join.
Yeah. Just
And you
invite them and
know,
let them
you
decide,
may
because
have
by not
skipped over
inviting them, you're deciding for them.
right, and you may have skipped over Susan, and Susan might have bought $200 worth of stuff from you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right.
And that's what that one party Ginger did. She invited she listened to me.
Yeah.
That's
And,
the
And if we can
Yep,
kind of
that's
get that
Janine calling
across,
me
that
right
idea
now.
without, we don't want to be super bossy, but at the same time, if we can just say, just do what I say, just follow the directions.
Yeah,
And then
I
if
will
we
say,
as consultants are doing a good job of telling them what to do, and you know, and effectively, but if you've got a good
Coaching them.
outline, a good system for your host coaching, and then just let them know, you know, and I'll sometimes, it depends on the person, but sometimes they'll be like, well, I don't really know what to do. And I'll be like, just do what I tell you. That's
Yep.
all. Just do what I tell you, then you're everything's going to be good.
Well,
and we
and-
kind of laugh, and you kind of like make it light, like it's a little bit of a silly, but it's actually really true.
I don't go crazy with the host coaching. I do give them pointers. I text them when they need to post something, you know, thank somebody for an order or do this. But I tell them, get in there,
Uh-huh.
post, you know, your thoughts of it, or something
Mhm.
you really like, or comment on my post, or do this, or
Uh-huh.
do. The more they see you, the more they're going to get excited, because you're their friend. I'm not.
Right. That's so true.
They don't know me. I mean, some of them do, because they're my friends and we have mutual friends. But I
Right.
mean, I've got people now that I had never knew before, and
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
the ones that have listened to me have actually had really good sales.
Yeah.
I have to tell y'all this funny one that I'm getting ready to close. She's at 966 something, and her husband had to go on and buy something himself so that she could get to 1,000. And I said, well, let me look and see how big of a difference it's going to make for you before you go and spend that 30 some dollars. She goes,
Right.
no, it has nothing to do with I'm getting. It has to do with him and having to hit 1,000.
Hey, whatever works,
Love
right?
it.
Wow,
That's awesome.
that's great, and definitely
So it's going good so far.
good. That's awesome. Hey, Jenny, I see that you joined us.
Hi.
I'm glad you're able to hop on tonight with us.
Right.
We're talking about what's going right in our businesses. So you have something you can share with us that's going right in your business?
No, not really.
Oh, there's got to be something, some big thing, little thing. Did you learn something new on Dash, or did you have a nice conversation, or did you use some of your products or make a recipe? It doesn't have to be a big, huge show or anything like that. Just something that you're having fun with.
Well, I talked to a few people that may be doing parties with me this month. So
Yay.
hopefully having 2 this month. So I'm excited.
Wonderful. That's definitely
Yay.
something going right. And
That's
here's the
exciting.
thing. We just do this in meetings and it's kind of fun, but it is important. Okay. That's what you need to be focusing on. That's the thing. You just like obsess over the fact that you've got a couple people that are going to have parties. And that's the thing that you want to just have occupy all of your mind is
Right.
that need. Sometimes we have to dig a little bit to find what's going right or to find something that we're going to be, but it's worth the time spent with that digging, and don't even let the other things take up real estate in your brain at all, because it's not serving you. You will never get in a positive direction by thinking about the negative stuff. Even
Right.
if it's real and true, it might be totally realistic, totally true, doesn't matter. Don't let it take up space in your head.
Okay.
So just focus on those possible bookings and working with them, and that's going to move you definitely in a better direction. A couple things here about doing in December, of course, while we're looking at this, and we talked a little bit about this, Paula mentioned it, and it is very important to front load your month with parties as much as possible. Partly because of the cutoff. If anyone's not aware, December 12th is a cutoff for a guaranteed Christmas delivery by December 23rd, actually. It's a couple days before Christmas. They're not trying to just have things show up on Christmas Day. So it gives people a little bit of extra time there. So December 12th is the deadline for that. Now that's for parties. People can actually order directly on your website later than that and still get it, especially if they're okay with paying the expedited shipping. I mean, I think they can actually order up until maybe the 22nd or 23rd or something. If they want to pay the fast shipping, they can do that. So when you're looking at doing that, but front loading the month with parties is also for your own sake. Like we talked about before, we don't want to take off the whole month of December. I mean, and realistically, there's no business in the world that just shuts down for a month in December. Especially retail, which is what we are. So, when you're looking at doing that, you want to have the freedom to certainly make your schedule flexible and enjoy the holidays and not be working, sort of traditional hours with your Pampered Chef job. But at the same time, if you take off that whole month, you're losing not only December, but you're losing moving into the new year as well. So we want to make sure that we're doing that. However, the parties can also be that first part of the month, and we can continue working on some other things over the course of the month too, because, it might be doing some extra dash training or working on some graphics or planning out what you want to do with your parties in January. And so it's not necessarily a party itself that's happening later in the month, but some other form of working with your business. Going live on social media is, I think, a really fun thing anytime. And right now, especially because, with the holidays, your house might look festive. You can cook if you want to. You don't even have to, though. Maybe just show a product like, oh my gosh, I just finished making whatever, and I used my garlic press. And look at this thing, is so cool. You can just talk about it and hold it in your hand. You don't have to actually be cooking with it. I used, I know Deb saw this one. I posted on my personal wall, a picture on Thanksgiving Day when I was making stuffing, and I had chopped some celery with my food chopper, and I just stopped and took a picture of it. I mean, it was not planned at all. Like cutting board, 2 little piles of celery with my food chopper sitting there, posted something about, I'm thankful for things that make my life easier. And that was it. And I think that has gotten more comments and likes than almost anything. I mean, it's just really funny, but that's relatable to people. So, if you're not comfortable going live, that's okay too. Just take something really sort of relevant and relatable that people are saying, yeah, my kitchen, like that. I either also love my food chopper or I wish I had a food chopper. Those are the two sides of that coin. And we can do a lot with that, to use social media just to connect with people, reach out like that. It doesn't have to be anything, sort of fancy or special or planned out or, anything like that. Just get on there and put yourself out in front of people and let them see what you're doing. You don't even have to mention Pampered Chef. Honestly, I didn't in that post. I said, I'm thankful for things that make my life easier. Now, a lot of people happen to recognize it as a Pampered Chef food chopper because a lot of people know what that is, and many of them have one. But it's not about selling things. It's about having a presence and connecting and doing that, with people at any time. And this is a great time to do that too. We do want to talk, we're going to talk in a second about January, but keeping your January hosts engaged is really important, because if they book a party now and then they get busy over the holidays, a lot of times they're just going to forget, and you'll get to that first week in January and they're like, oh my gosh, I totally forgot about it. Never mind, I can't do this, because they feel overwhelmed. So, it's good to kind of just keep in touch with your January hosts. And then this last one I love, in the last several years I've done this, and I'm planning to this year, is hosting my own virtual party between Christmas and New Year's. So I'm planning to do it from the 26th to the 30th. and run it in there, host some. I'm going to do it as a shared rewards party like we were talking about, which not everybody, has that option at this time. But I'm going to, do it since I do have that. But even if it's just, last year I just did it. I did a mystery host thing and I just put it out there. People get money for Christmas. Also, as of Christmas Day being over, everybody kind of goes, huh, okay, now what? Right? Because all of that, hubbub that was happening getting ready for the holidays, kind of winds down, and then they're just sort of at loose ends a little bit. So it's really a good time. They're going to be sitting there on their phone. They're going to be sitting there, hey, Monica, they're going to be, scrolling through things and just sort of relaxing and catching their breath after the holidays. So when you do something fun, maybe with, kind of some of those like leftovers from your holidays, or people that might be wanting to start eating a little healthier if they were, were not doing that so much before Christmas, so you can do a little bit of a theme. Don't worry about making it anything fancy, just kind of get something out there and connect with people. And that could also really boost your December by making use of that time in between. When I was doing cooking shows many years, I did a cooking show in that week in between there. A lot of people loved it. You get people that are off work during that time. Sometimes certainly anybody like in the school system, things are shut down. So that's a little bit, more low key for them. So, we would do a cooking show in between Christmas and New Year's. Their house was still looking kind of festive and fun and whatnot. And, so that was a nice way too, to work with what they had going on and also, fill in some of that time in December that you want to get a little creative about. Hi, Jean. I see you're muted, so I'm just going to say hi.
Hi, but is there somebody that's not muted that maybe is running a,
There's some
I don't know.
background noise here. I'm going to mute.
Yeah, I hear some.
Yeah, okay, I muted you, Jenny, and I'm going to mute. Paula's already muted, so. Okay. All right, so one of the things that's always a good idea is suggestive selling in terms of different sort of selling skills and ways of offering things to people. And so we're actually going to watch a video here real quick that I have queued up, and hopefully, let me get into, just realized I think this is a setting on my, I had to say, okay, I'm going to play this. You guys tell me, give me a thumbs up if you can hear it. Can you hear that? That is not what I meant to do.
It's real quiet.
Is it? I got this last time. Janine, do you remember I was trying to do this when we did our meeting with your team?
I remember there was something that you did, but I don't remember what it was.
I did that made it work.
I don't remember if you said what it was.
Son of a gun. Because it worked perfectly.
Sorry, I don't
Okay.
remember.
Well, that's not going to work. Wait, same as.
Remember you being like, "Oh, I got it," and then
Yeah. Is that any better? No? Okay. All right. Well, then we're not going to do that. What I'm going to do is encourage you to go. There are 2 videos that we were going to watch tonight, and one of these days I'm going to get this figured out so we can do it. But in the meantime, these videos are both now posted on Stir. They had given us, given directors a link ahead of time for just like the video by itself. But this one right here with Jane and Jesse is talking about suggestive selling. You can see they've got some nice sets right here. And these are things that you can put pictures out in virtual parties. You could send an email. You could send like a customer connection email. You could send messages to people with some pictures where they've got like products kind of paired with, something that's not Pampered Chef in some cases, like a bottle of wine, but just things that you can offer people that they might not think of themselves. Okay. And for example, like when we did our Black Friday mega party, Deb did that Facebook Live talking about different gift ideas and, some of the things that you might want to suggest to people. So it can be, if you're talking to somebody and you can bring some information in front of them. So for example, in some virtual parties in the past, I would have a post where people commented on, it'd be like, okay, who are you buying for? And then when they commented, okay, tell us a little bit about this person. Oh, it's my son-in-law, it's my daughter, it's my cousin, it's my kid's teacher. Who are you buying for that you're looking for some ideas? And, if they're saying it's a teacher, oh, well, maybe something like this whisk with some Hershey Kisses or mints or something like that in with the whisk, or the bottle of, the raspberry habanero sauce with a spreader, or, really any of the things on here. Certainly probably the bottle of wine would be appreciated by your kids' teachers. I know my kids' teachers. So, there are just some things where sometimes people don't necessarily come into a Pampered Chef party or catalog or looking at your website saying, I know I want to buy an ice cream dipper for this person. Where is it? They can really be helped by some suggestions of what might be great as a gift, some things that go together well. I love this one with the tortilla warmer in the mix and chop and the chipotle rub. I think it's such a great idea. For somebody that's looking for, kind of a set, a gift set, basically. It doesn't have to be called a gift set by Pampered Chef to put those things together and, make it something that's going to be enjoyed by the people receiving it. Let me come back over here to where I was with this. And so anyway, like I said, if I would encourage you to get onto the Stir and look for that suggestive selling video with Jesse and Jane, and they kind of go through a little bit more, their commentary about it as well. So as we get into January, you guys probably have seen this, but just want to make sure everybody does know that January is double rewards for hosts. So when they have a $650 show, their free product amount is doubled. And then we also have the stainless steel cookware that's 60% off as an option for this. And this is with any show, any qualifying show of 200. One of the things I think is really neat is that they've also put all three pieces together as a 60% off, because otherwise normally they could choose one of these 60% off, but now as a set, they can get all three of them 60% off. So that's a huge savings for somebody that wants that stainless steel cookware. If you didn't notice it, up here in the corner, this says $25 value, and it has a picture of the quick shred. When the host places their order between January 1st and the 10th, they can get a free quick shred. So if you don't have this or haven't seen it before, it's a really wonderful product. And there's a great little short video on shredding your meat in seconds, and it's Tim from the Home Office Test Kitchen. It's one of the things in marketing imagery, and it's like maybe 30 seconds, if that. I don't even think it's that long. And it's him shredding like a pulled pork or a roast or something like that. But it really shows off that quick shred. So when your host places their order between the 1st and the 10th, now with Direct Ship now, of course, that's when that show is considered to be closed. But if it started like on the 8th and then only some orders were in by the 10th, but the host order wasn't until after, that's what you want to be looking at. One of the things that you could do here, even as if you wanted to say, do a show that ran from the end of, say right after Christmas. I was talking about, I'm going to do it between, Christmas and like the 26th to the 30th. But you could, if you have somebody hosting that, they could close it on January 1st or 2nd, like so that you would get the guest orders that were placed in December, which is where the bulk of our sales comes from. Typically, the commissionable part of the host order is often, $5 or something, sometimes it's more, but not, a lot of times it's not. But you could be getting all those guest sales coming in between Christmas and New Year's. And then you could submit that show, like have the host do their order January 1st or later and be able to get the January host special. Okay. So just a few ways that you could kind of work with the timing on that. But certainly also if you had parties starting, say that week after, maybe January 3rd or 4th, something like that. And then running, if you run it for a week, you kind of, are putting it in there. Like Paul, I know you said you normally start your shows on Monday. So your shows could start on the Monday right after New Year's, would be, I think, the 4th, and then, still fall within that time frame of being able to close and get the free quick shred in by the 10th, I guess it is that needs to go in. So we talked too about January hosts and be wanting to make sure that you don't lose steam with those January hosts because of the fact that the holidays can kind of just come up on them, and then sometimes when they get done. Now this is less of an issue for virtual parties than cooking shows, because cooking shows sometimes you get to where they're supposed to be having a show the first or second week of January. And they're like, well, I didn't even send out invitations. I didn't even tell anybody yet. I mean, that's stuff that is done more ahead of time with the cooking show. So we do have the advantage with most of us, most of them being virtual parties, that's not as much of an issue. So if they've got that show that's going to happen that first week in January, then they're less likely to feel like, oh, I can't do this because I got to clean my house or anything like that. So that's good. But it is still good to keep in touch with them, maybe send them an email with some recipes. Janine, do you know if the host letters are still, January host letters are still on Consultants Corner?
Yes, they are.
They are. Okay. Do you know where?
I saw them as well. I think that they are in marketing imagery.
They are. They're in
some
marketing imagery. I think they're either under promotions or featured
this
this
month.
month. One
Yeah.
of those two categories.
Yeah.
Okay. So what that is the company has put together some letters that are basically thank you for hosting in January. I hope you have a wonderful holiday. Here's a recipe. So it's just a keeping in touch with your host kind of thing. And so you could print that off and put it in the mail. You can probably send a digital version if you preferred to do that. Although I think actually sending it in the mail is kind of a nice touch. You don't have to do much, but sign it, print it off and sign it and put it in the mail. But that way people are getting something kind of festive along with it. But it just keeps you not necessarily right in front of their mind when they've got Christmas stuff going on, but not completely out of their mind either, which is kind of a nice thing as well. So this right here, and Jenny, you had messaged me about this as far as the levels for the free-for-all in December. I just want to make sure everybody's aware of that. We had, of course, our free-for-all in November happening, and a bunch of people that earned a bunch of free products. So in December, we've got the two levels are $1,000 and $2,000 in sales submitted. So that's going to be, right up until the December 31st. So we do have the entire month for that. And it's going to be those new spring products that we're going to find out about in February and receive in February. So that's going to be a lot of fun. It's always interesting to be earning stuff we don't even know what we're earning yet, but it's going to be good. It's always good. And it's always going to be something that we want, right? So this is definitely a good time to be working toward that as well and hop on that spring free-for-all in December. So this you may or may not have seen. This was just announced today, and this is a special for new consultants starting in December. And what it is an extra 30 days to earn their fast track bonuses. Okay, so this is really perfect because anybody starting now, of course, has the advantage of they get those products. They can use them themselves through the holidays. If they have doubles, they could give some as gifts. And there's some really great things about getting started now, but it can make it a little bit tricky for people earning those fast track rewards if they end up having that lull around the holidays. You know what I mean? So in order to address that, Pampered Chef gives them a whole extra 30 days to earn all of their fast track bonuses. So that's going to be their product bonuses from their sales and their recruiting bonuses of $100 for every recruit that you have in your first 90 days. When they reach their $1,250 in their first 90 days, that's $100 in your pocket for anybody who's still in fast track. So for these people starting in January or December, that would be the case. You also then have that 30 days extra for promoting and getting the cash bonuses that come along with the promotion to director in your first 90 days too. So they're going to have 120 days for that. So I think this is a really great thing to be offering to people, again, where they're getting their stuff started now. They're getting those products. They can play with them through the holidays. Even if they're not really ready to start doing much until January, they can get them now and have the same amount of time for fast track that they would have with a 90-day period starting in January, but they get everything ahead of time so that they can kind of get accustomed to things, do a little training, get on Dash, play with the products, make some recipes and, all that kind of stuff. And they also are really ready to hit the ground running in January then and take advantage of things like the double free, host special and that kind of thing. So, there are some really excellent benefits to starting in December. And the only thing that could be a little bit of a drawback is thinking, oh, and I'm not going to be able to make those fast track bonuses because I'm not going to be doing parties right around Christmas. Well, we've removed that as a concern by adding on the extra 30 days. So it does give them a nice opportunity to do that as well. Now this is another video that we were going to watch that we're not because you can't hear it. But this is also in the stir. And so this is talking about building your team in December. So it's kind of addressing the recruiting side of things specific to this month. It's excellent. I watched it. Claudia Bazar is always really great to listen to. She's just very, sort of upfront and simple and clear in what she's talking about, and certainly has done great things with her business and her whole organization. And so, you can kind of check out what she has to say about recruiting and getting started with Pampered Chef at this time, so that we're equipped to share that with the people that we are going to come into contact with at our shows, at holiday things. I don't know how much holiday things are going on this year, but people that you might be in touch with that you would want to reach out to as well. So you can kind of take a look at that. One of the reasons I was going to do it here is, to be honest with you, I think there's so much information on Consultants Corner, so much great stuff in there that I know for me, I don't always, I miss out on it. You know what I mean? Because I don't even realize that it's there. And now we've moved on to some other great thing. So I really was wanting to take a few minutes now for both of these videos, because I'm afraid you guys might also do like I do and not make a point of going to watch the videos, listen to them, get the information. Same thing with anybody watching the recording. So although we weren't able to do it here tonight, I just would really hope that you take advantage of these things. They're not long. It might be 5 minutes. It's not like it's a big, long 3-hour webinar that you have to get on there, but it's really good information, and it can help us to really stay connected to what's going on with our businesses and stay on top of things, get some great ideas. I mean, there's so much out there, and it can be overwhelming, and it can be a lot of information. But if we're just kind of consistently learning and bringing in new things, you may remember it, you may not. But you know what? I know I've absolutely have found for myself, and Janine, I'm gonna guess, is probably would say the same thing. You don't even realize sometimes how much you learn. And then a few months down the road, you find yourself saying something and you're like, wow, where did that come from? And it wasn't because you wrote it down when you listened to a training and you memorized it and you practiced it and you did all that. It's just because it was in your head someplace. And when you hear things enough and you get a lot of input about different aspects of, in this case, recruiting. So when you listen to a bunch of different recruiting trainings and people talking about it, some of it's going to be repetitive. Some of it is going to be a whole different idea. You're like, wow, I don't even know about that or understand what she's talking about or whatever, but it's all going in there. And it's a resource that we may not readily identify or consciously be, ready to, send as a message to somebody or come out in a conversation, but we do internalize these things, and it really just makes us much more well-rounded and more better equipped really to cover a lot of different aspects of our business. And so it is kind of fun sometimes when you find yourself going, wow, I did really well with that. Like I answered that question and I didn't even have to think about it. That's just came out, and I'm not sure where I heard that from, but somewhere along the line, these are things that I learned. But we have to really kind of immerse ourselves in the resources that are available, like this video from Claudia and the one from Jesse and Jane, because it makes that a lot of different parts of our business kind of become kind of second nature. And just kind of roll and flow in different ways that we might not be aware of until it happens, or after it happens, or when someone says, oh, that's a really good idea, and you're like, yeah, I don't even know where I got that idea from, but it is a good one. So let's do it.
It's kind of like CPR for your business.
Yep, I would agree.
Starts things.
Yeah, I would agree, absolutely, Deb. Okay. Now, I did want to mention this. So we've talked a little bit about recruiting, and this is related to directors. And I know we've got some people that are directors, some that are interested in becoming directors, some that may never have thought about this at all. But this is a virtual conference, this 2-day virtual summit that Pampered Chef is doing in February for directors. And you have to be a director by February 1st to participate in this. And I can tell you, anytime the home office is offering training like this, it is going to be excellent. I mean, really, and I've been so impressed. That always was true for our conferences and things like that. But even now that we've done several things virtually, they really are outstanding. And it's a great opportunity to be doing some things that are really going to benefit your business. And in this case, this is director level only. And you have to promote to director by February 1st in order to participate in this. So I definitely would encourage you there'll be more information coming about this, but since it's something that's kind of time sensitive, we don't want to be telling you in the middle of January, oh, and by the way, you need to be a director in 2 weeks to be able to take advantage of this. So let's start planning ahead a little bit and working towards some of those things there. Also, this, in a way, I looked at this slide and I said, holy cow, that's not until next summer. I thought, you know what? That's not that far away. It's like 6 months, And so I wanted to put this out there. Now, as of right now, they are planning on a physical conference. And they've given us dates, and it's going to be downtown Chicago. Who knows if that's actually going to happen, depending on the state of the world at the time. But if they don't do it in person, Chicago, this past summer, they had to shift gears and make it a virtual conference. It was the same time frame, and it was wonderful. So either way, I'd really encourage you to plan on attending that. I know, Monica, it was your first conference with Pampered Chef, and a little different than the others, the in-person ones, but still a great experience, even online. And if we do get to go to Chicago, then that's really fun too. So, all right, guys, Excellence Awards. This is our annual awards program that runs from June to May every year. So we are not quite halfway through it, but we're getting close to that. So I just wanted to mention that again, as far as kind of a reminder. This has 4 different categories that you can earn it in: personal sales, personal recruiting, developing leaders, and organizational sales. And, when you're looking at doing this as something that you can enjoy as recognition from the company, and also just from a practical standpoint, you get 500 Pampered Chef dollars deposited into your account. So you basically aren't paying for anything for a long time, catalogs and products and conference registrations or anything like that. So that's a nice bonus right there, the 500 Pampered Chef dollars. In addition, this year they changed the awards sometimes from year to year. This year it's a Visa gift card. And the amount varies depending on how many categories you earn it in, because you can earn it from anywhere from 1 to 4 categories. So the details of this are also on Consultants Corner. So, just wanted to kind of put it out there, since we are a few months into it, but definitely not so much that it's not possible to still earn excellence if that's something that you would enjoy doing. So, all right, guys. So that's the end of my little slideshow here, and pretty much the end of, let me stop share. That's what I'm looking for. But I did want to just kind of open it up to you guys and see what sort of, questions you have or ideas about any of these things. I'd say particularly December, since this is where we are right now, and really want to make sure that we have a good, strong December. Do you have anything that you're doing that you're excited about, or that you're wondering about, or you'd like to share? Yeah.
When you were talking about the gift sets and the ideas of putting things together,
Uh-huh.
when I had to transition from Thanksgiving to Christmas, I kind of panicked. And then I had a whole day of posts that was about pizza, and like the stones are not available, the pizza field is
Uh-huh.
not available. I'm trying not to post things in the parties that aren't available.
Right.
So I came up with this last 2 shows that I'm closing right now, where I think it was Wednesday had been my pizza day. I did the day of giving, a
Uh-huh.
gift or day of gifts or something like that. So I put together, like, if they're for the griller in your life, and I went through and found the things that were in stock, so
Mhm.
to speak, and did that. And then I did the wine lover and things like that. And I got a lot of good comments and feedback on those.
Yeah.
Just picking like the salad lover, that kind of thing,
Uh-huh.
and all the salad products and stuff.
Yeah, I think that's such a great idea to make things, like, again, sort of relevant to people in that specific way, because we've got a salad bowl. Anybody could go through the catalog or look on the website and see we've got a salad bowl, we've got a thing for making salad dressing, but they don't necessarily make that connection with those products and this friend they have that loves salads. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like I said, they're not going into it saying, what are the salad products, that I need to get for my friend. They're going to have that triggered by your post or Facebook Live talking about, and we've got this for the wine lover, and this for the salad lover, and this for the dessert lover, or somebody that's
Mhm.
baking, or, whatever that might be. And then they start to go, oh yeah, I do have this friend that drinks a lot of wine or bakes all the time or
I
whatever.
had somebody comment on the salad lover post and pointed out that the salad chopper is awesome for breaking up meat, shredding
Yes.
meat as well.
Yeah.
So, so that got that whole conversation going with the people
Yeah.
in the party. So it was really
Absolutely.
cool.
Yeah. Well, and I think it's telling, Paula, that you had, because we did have a lot of stuff that was not available this month, and you still had over $5,000 in sales,
Mhm.
right? And Deb had almost 5,000, 4,800 in sales. Janine had over 6,000 in sales. There's stuff to sell. and there are people buying things. And
Right.
that's not to discount some of that. Oh, well, there are a lot of things not available. That's true. There are. And I'm not going to take somebody that really wants a piece of stoneware and they're not going to necessarily decide to buy a metal sheet pan instead. They might, I can suggest it, but they might and they might not. And that's okay. Maybe they just want to wait. But there are other people out there that do want the things that are available. Clearly, I mean, they've been buying
That's
them.
when the booking conversation comes in to say, well, we
Exactly.
need to, contact you when the stoneware is available, and we could get that we can get that for you at possibly 60% off or even for free. So that's where you transition into that. And, you apologize and saying, I'm so sorry, but our stoneware has been such a loved product this year that we have, our company has not been able to keep up with that love. And, but it, when it does come back in stock, I can contact you and we can put together a quick party of your own to
Mhm.
get that for
Yeah.
you. So yeah, we can work it in the, in the positive
Right.
instead of that.
And
Yeah.
certainly I think that idea that, I would never want someone to feel like the fact that Pampered Chef is successful is a negative for them. So I don't want to put it into a light that, oh, well, you don't get the products you want because everybody what I mean? So I think that's a fine line right there.
Yeah.
But at the same time, the reality is, even aside from that, we've got manufacturers that just, they can't keep up. Particularly the stoneware manufacturer is definitely one of them, and like some of them are like pretty much the whole collection, like stoneware and cookware, other than the stainless steel. But I had somebody that commented, I think it was in the Black Friday mega party, that had commented, and it was somebody that, like, a past host of mine who had ordered, and so she was commenting, and so I responded and she said something, but they don't have the donut pan, they don't have this, that. And I'm like, oh, I know, it's a bummer. They're flying off the shelves. The Pampered Chef is right up there with toilet paper and Clorox wipes or something like that. And she just laughed. But I mean, it is what it is. I'm not going to try to I'll apologize up to a point, but I don't want to make it come across like we're doing something wrong by not having things. I think the tone that you set with people is certainly being like, oh yeah, I know it's a bummer you wanted to get that and weren't able to, when it gets back, I'd be happy to let you know. We can do it, like Deb said, we could do a party, but I'm not going to make it like this big, oh, woe is us. How horrible is it that we don't have this thing? And, Pampered Chef is a terrible company, not that we would say those things, but sometimes when you over apologize, it can come across that way, because we don't have anything to apologize for in terms of this thing not being available. I'll apologize and sympathize with your disappointment. Absolutely. I know it is disappointing. I've tried to order things from Amazon and they're not there. You go and you put it in your cart, but you didn't buy it yet. You go back and you've got the message saying this is no longer available, whatever. It happens, right? And it is a bummer. And maybe it was like, oh, that's what I wanted for a gift for somebody. So I'm not saying that we don't empathize with that, but I think we don't want to go so far into that we're sort of acting as if we're guilty of something and that they have a right to be mad at us. I think sometimes it carries over into that. And I think that some people that I have heard from, not like personally, but so, say on Facebook or something, that really seem to be having a hard time with people getting mad at them and everything. I wonder sometimes, and I don't want to say they brought it on themselves, but again, I think the way that we present things makes a difference. And if you go into it as if you're apologizing for Pampered Chef being like managing things badly or doing a bad job or, some of these sort of negative things, then people go, yeah, you're right. Pampered Chef does stink. They should have stoneware. It just like feeds on it, that sort of a level of negativity that is not helpful in any way. Where when we can say, oh, I understand that's disappointing, that's a bummer, I'd be happy to let you know when it comes back. Pampered Chef has just, has been really popular. The manufacturers are having trouble keeping up and, doing the best we can. But not, like I said, I think it's just a matter of like so many things, the way that we approach it, the tone that we take, the words that we use, and the vibe, if you will, that we send out about it. People pick up on that and they respond in kind. And we don't want to, kind of either feed into a negativity or even worse, be the ones starting it by kind of presenting, this, kind of the lack rather than the abundance of all the other products that are available. All right. So last thing, unless anybody else has something to say, we just found out about this today and it's super exciting. And it's the double dipping. Did you see that post in the Facebook post that I ran right before this? So what they've announced is that, so the new trip program will be announced December 14th. That will be the 2021 earning period. And typically that runs January to December. So like this month, we're right at the tail end of the 2020 earning period, right? Well, what they announced was that all of our December points for sales, recruiting, promoting, everything having to do with the way we earn points for the incentive trip will count from December for the current trip, but also for the new trip starting next year. So basically they're giving us 13 months instead of 12 months to earn a free vacation. So it's another reason to really, let's make this a great December, because you could head into the whole new trip program with like $5,000 or $6,000 when you're looking at, if you've got sales, if you've got one or two qualified recruits, anything like that, that's part of earning the trip that happens in December is going to count for now. Like I know, Deb, you're still working toward this year's trip, right? But it's also going to give you a jump start on next year. I mean, that's amazing. Or if you kind of, came into things later in the year and you're not really on track to earn a trip this year, December is not going to be wasted because that's going to give you a jump start on the next year's trip program. So let's make December really outstanding and make sure that we're making the most of it. Hey, Janine.
Yes.
You have anything to add or comment or what have you about anything?
Well, the double dipping December is pretty amazing. Like I don't remember them doing that in 18 years that I've been with the company. So that's cool.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of like, they used to do double points months.
Once in a while, they would throw in a double.
Usually like January or July would be double points months, but this is kind of the same thing, sort of.
Well, I kind of wish it was double points.
Well, but it's essentially the same thing because it's adding an extra month's worth of points to both.
For next year's trip. It'd be nice. Yeah, Deb wants double points for just
double points now.
Oh. Yeah.
Which would be nice too, but
yeah, that's true. But no, that's pretty exciting. I mean, I think that's good.
Good. I am gonna do one more thing, and Paula, I'm gonna put you on the spot here, hon. I know that you have gotten off to a really awesome start. You've had a bunch of bookings. You've had great sales. I know you've got a number of bookings for this month and moving into the new year. So what would you tell us about your bookings and how you're getting those on your calendar? Do you have a something you think is really doing the trick?
Well, I go through the drawing slip forms, the Google Docs that I have them fill out, and if they have a yes or a maybe for if their host was going to become a Pampered Chef consultant, that they would do it. I reach out to them even if the host isn't interested.
Okay, so they might have marked no for hosting a show like with you, but then they marked yes or maybe if the host joined. And so
right, I still go ahead and reach out to them.
Those people the same way. Yeah.
Yeah. If they said no to both, then I tend not to push that.
But that
unless
makes sense,
I see them
if they were
interacting
going to be willing to do it with their friend,
I'll still go ahead.
Yeah, because if they were going to be willing to do it with their friend, then they at least have some willingness to do it. Period. And you can do that's
right.
Great. What do you,
and I had
say when you're reaching out to people?
One of the two parties I'm.
What do you say when you're reaching out to people? What are you saying to them?
I use if they put something on their form that they were interested in getting, I just, hey, thanks for supporting your friend. So, I don't say your friend, I'll say, Shelly in her Pampered Chef party, enjoyed your interactions, noticed that you're interested in blank and blank. Would you be interested in hosting a party and get those for free or discounted? Let me know if you have any questions, that kind of thing.
Okay.
And sometimes they don't reply. Sometimes they do and say, no, I'm not going to do it. But I've only had a couple parties where I didn't get a booking.
Yeah.
And this one of them that I'm closing now, I didn't get anything. And the host, she worked hard on a couple of her friends trying to get them,
Yeah.
and they just weren't willing to do it. But they're
Mhm.
they're also young.
Oh,
They're
yeah.
in their 20s. So
So they're
and
more
I don't know
inclined
if
to.
that has anything to do with it. They're
You
all
know,
kind of
it's funny
starting out on
because
their
I just
own, and
closed a
just
show with the host, and when we were texting, because I had started out with the texting her thanking for her order, and we had a little couple of texts back and forth, and you asked her about hosting, and then she said, "Okay, I'm going to do this. I think it's time. This is like, I can't remember how she phrased it. It was so funny. Basically, like, this is a grown-up thing to do, and I think I'm ready." She's like in her
yeah,
late 20s, and
yeah,
she's an active duty Army officer, and she's just like, I think she's been to lots of shows, virtual and in person, but she'd never hosted, and she thought this was like, a sign that she was really maturing and growing up and moving into the adult world by hosting a party
yeah.
at Camper Chap. I thought that was a riot, and she was amazing. She was great, but was not
But this
prepared to
other
join my
party that
team.
I'm
But
having, the other one that I'm having right now, I got three. One person came right to me like the second day of the party. I want to have my own party.
oh,
And
hey,
then the
nice.
other two, one was like, well, I don't know. And I, started telling her what the host was earning at that point, and she was like, oh, what the heck? Let's give it a try for January. So
Yeah, nice. Okay, cool. Good. All right, guys, so we'll go ahead and wrap it up there. Thank you so much for getting on here. Anybody watching the recording, thank you for joining us in the replay. And I hope everybody has a wonderful week. Oh, there was a post about this too, but in case you missed it, go back and we'll go through those posts. but besides that, we are going to have a virtual Zoom Christmas party for our team on December 14th. That is the day that they're announcing the new trip program. So we also thought that would be a fun time to do a party on Zoom. So it's not going to be like a meeting or training kind of thing. It's just going to be, make yourself some snacks and your beverage of choice and get on
We
Zoom.
play
And
bingo.
we might play bingo. Deb, we're going to be talking about that tomorrow morning in our director Zoom meeting. So tomorrow's Wednesday, right? Yeah. So
Yeah. I'm off. So yay.
that's right. So you can join us. So we'll talk about what we're going to do at the Christmas party and let you know more information later. But get that on your calendar for December 14th, 7 p.m. Central Time.
Yeah.
I think that's it, guys. Does anybody have something to add or ask? No? Okay. All right. Thanks again, you guys. Have a great week. We'll talk soon. Bye-bye.
Bye.